Hey everyone, Eric here. Welcome. Have you ever seen this happen? A company's absolute best performer gets promoted to manager, and then they just completely crash and burn. It's got to be one of the toughest, most painful jumps in anyone's career. So today, we're going to lay out a roadmap to help you avoid that exact fate, and we're using the incredible insights from Liu Run's book, The Key Leap.
So let me just ask you, are you about to become the next Xiao Zhang? Just picture this guy. He's the company's superstar, right? The top salesperson, the genius coder, everything he touches is just gold. So naturally, he gets the promotion. But then you fast forward, say 3 months, and the guy is absolutely drowning. He's the most stressed out person in the entire company, staying late to secretly redo his team's work, and he's just wondering, why can't they just get it? Why aren't they as good as me? Does that hit a little too close to home?
And here's the really painful part. The irony of it all. The crazy thing is, the very thing that made him a hero as an individual contributor, that drive, that perfectionism, is now the exact thing that's trapping him. He's gone from being the team's hero to becoming its single biggest bottleneck. His personal high standards are now choking the team's ability to grow. And the result? Team performance is tanking. He's on the fast track to burnout, and he's left thinking, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. If that feeling is familiar, trust me, you are not alone. This is the critical hurdle every single new manager has to face.
So what is really going on here? Well, the problem isn't that he's not working hard enough. No, it goes way deeper than that. Liu Run calls it the biggest trap for any new manager, a complete identity mismatch. It's like his business card might say manager, but his brain is still running on that old star employee operating system. And this slide, this right here, this is the absolute core of that shift. You see, the employee brain on the left, well, it measures your value by your personal output. It's all about how fast you can run. But the manager brain on the right, that's totally different. Your job is no longer to be the best violinist. Your job is to be the conductor of the entire orchestra. You get results through other people. Your value is now measured by your team's total output. Look, this isn't just a step up the ladder. It's a completely different job.
And what happens when you're stuck in that employee brain mode? Oh, you just can't help yourself, can you? You see a problem and you just have to jump in and fix it yourself. You think you're saving the day, but the truth is, you're not solving one problem, you're creating 3 much bigger ones. First, you totally rob your people of the chance to actually learn and grow. Second, you kill any sense of ownership they might have had. And third, and this is a big one, you're wasting your precious time putting out small fires instead of, actually thinking about the big picture. It's a lose-lose-lose situation for everyone.
Okay, so how do we get out of this trap? Well, Liu Run gives us this really solid framework. He calls the manager's tripod. Think of it like, the 3 legs of a stool. You need all 3 for it to be stable. To build that foundation, you need to shift from doing the work to leading the work.
And those 3 legs are pretty straightforward. You've got goals, you've got people, and you've got resources. If you can get these 3 things right, you'll create an incredibly stable platform where your team can really start to take off. So let's break each one down.
All right, first up, goals. Now, the big idea here is that your job isn't to draw the entire map for your team. Your job is to point to the North Star. You define the what and the why, and you trust them with the how. Saying something like, let's improve customer satisfaction is, well, it's pretty useless, right? It's too vague. A great manager gets specific. They use something like OKRs to create a concrete key result, like, we will increase our customer referral rate from 20% to 30% by the end of this quarter. Now, suddenly, everyone on the team knows exactly what winning looks like.
Okay, pillar number 2, people. And this is where a lot of new managers really stumble. They try to fix everyone's weaknesses. But look, your job isn't to hammer away at people's flaws trying to make them perfect. Your job is to be a master architect, designing a team where everyone's unique strengths get to shine. So stop being a critic and start being a talent scout. That means getting to know your team on a deep level through one-on-ones. And when you delegate, you're not just handing off a to-do list. You're giving them true ownership of an outcome.
And that brings us to our third and final pillar, resources. And really, this is all about empowerment. When one of your team members comes to you with a really tangled problem, your first instinct's probably to just solve it for them. You've got to fight that instinct. Instead, a great manager acts like a coach. You ask powerful questions. Okay, what have you tried so far? What do you think the next logical step is? You're not the provider of answers. You're the coach who helps them find the answers themselves. And one of the most critical resources you can give is good, clear feedback. For that, there's a fantastic little tool called SBI. The reason SBI is so darn effective is that it takes the emotion and guesswork out of feedback. It's all about being objective. It's super simple. You state the situation, you describe the specific behavior you saw, and then you explain the impact it had. For example, in yesterday's client meeting,
That's the situation. I noticed you interrupted the client 3 times while they were speaking. That's the behavior. The impact was that they seemed to pull back and get quiet, which could damage the trust we're trying to build. That's the impact. See the difference? You're not saying, "You were so rude," which just makes people defensive. You're just laying out the facts. It opens the door for a real conversation.
Okay, so that's the big picture thinking, right? The mindset, the framework. But let's be real, theory doesn't mean a thing if you can't put it into practice. So let's get super practical here with a 90-day action plan you can start using from day 1.
So, we're going to break this down into 3 simple 30-day chunks. The first month, it's all about listening and building trust. The second month, we're going to find a quick win to build some credibility. And then in the third month, that's when you start building the systems that are going to last.
So in your first 30 days, your goal is simple. Be a sponge. Think of yourself as an information hub. Your primary job is just to listen. You're managing upward by asking your boss what success really looks like for the team. You're managing downward by holding one-on-ones to understand what's really going on. And you're managing sideways by building bridges with other departments. The hardest part? Resisting that itch to start fixing things. Don't. Not yet. Your only job is to listen and learn.
All right, month 2. Now it's time to make a move. We're looking for a quick win. Look, we're not trying to solve world hunger here. Just find one of those small, annoying problems that everyone complains about. Maybe it's a clunky report or a broken process, and just solve it. The goal isn't just about fixing the thing. It's a strategic move to send a clear signal to your team that says, "I'm here to remove obstacles for you." Think of it as making a big deposit in your team's trust account. It builds momentum. Okay, so after listening and getting that quick win, you hit your 3rd month. And now you shift gears. This is where you stop being a firefighter and start being an architect. You build the systems, the regular meetings, the clear goals, the feedback loops that let the team run smoothly without you having to be involved in every little thing. And that is how you make the leap. You've gone from just trying to survive the transition to actually thriving as a leader.
So when we boil it all down, what is this key leap we've been talking about? It's this right here. It's that massive transformation from being the lone hero who does everything to being the coach who makes everyone else on the team a hero. Your success is no longer defined by what you do, it's defined by what your team achieves.
And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most important question you have to ask yourself as a leader. Because true leadership, the real journey, it begins the moment you decide your job is to make other people more successful than you are. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Who will you make more successful?
So I really hope this framework gives you a clear path to making your own key leap. Hey, if you got something valuable out of this today, do us a favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and maybe share it with another new manager who you think could use it. It really is the best way to help the channel grow and empower more leaders just like you. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. And hey, is there a book you've been wanting to read or a big idea you're wrestling with that you'd like us to break down? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Eric, and I'll catch you in the next one.